All of China shocked. Alexandra Eala, the unexpected star of Asian tennis. The hierarchy of Asian tennis has long been set in stone. For decades, the narrative has been dominated by the powerhouse systems of China and Japan, nations with the infrastructure, the funding, and the sheer volume of athletes to control the region. But in the late months of 2025, during the grueling Asian swing of the WTA Tour, that script wasn't just rewritten, it was torn to shreds. The tennis world, particularly the local media and fans across China, has been left in a state of absolute shock. And the cause of this seismic shift? A 20-year-old sensation from the Philippines named Alexandra Eala. What we witnessed from Jing'an to the electric atmosphere of the Hong Kong Open was not merely a run of good form. It was a coronation. Eala didn't just participate. She dismantled higher-ranked opponents with ferocity and tactical maturity that betrayed her age. She turned hostile crowds into cheering sections, transformed stadiums into unofficial Philippine fiestas, and forced the giant of Asian sports media to look away from their own local heroes and focus on the silent line from Southeast Asia. This is a story of how a young woman, carrying the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders, walked into the backyard of the world's tennis superpowers and proved she belongs at the very top. This is a breakdown of Alex Eala's historic campaign, the tactical evolution that terrified her opponents, and why analysts are now calling her the true new queen of Asian tennis. Buckle up. We are diving deep into the rise of the Philippines' finest to truly understand the magnitude of what Alexandra Eala has accomplished in this 2025 season. We first need to contextualize the environment she stepped into. The Asian swing of the WTA Tour is notoriously difficult. Coming off the back of the U.S. Open, players are often fatigued, and the conditions in China can be punishing. Historically, this is where the homegrown talents of China and Japan thrive. They feed off the local energy. They are accustomed to the courts, and they are protected by a wall of dominance that few Southeast Asians have ever managed to crack. Yet, this year was different. From the moment Eala stepped onto the hard courts in China, specifically during that opening week in Jing'an, the atmosphere shifted. She wasn't there to just make up the numbers or gain experience. She arrived with a singular mission, to win, and the manner in which she executed that mission is what has the tennis world buzzing. Let's talk about the Jing'an campaign. This was the catalyst. In the early rounds, Eala faced seeded players, women with higher rankings, more experience, and the crowd on their side. In the past, a young underdog might crumble under that specific kind of pressure. But Eala displayed what Chinese analysts are now referring to as the silent line mentality. She didn't crack. She didn't panic. Instead, she unleashed a brand of aggression that caught everyone off guard. We saw her trademark lefty forehand doing damage, not just as a defensive tool, but as a weapon of mass destruction. She was taking the ball early, robbing her opponents of time, and dictating the rallies from the baseline. This wasn't the tentative play of a rookie hoping for an unforced error. This was the assertive dominance of a top-tier player. Each upset when she secured in those opening rounds wasn't just a notch in the win column. It was a statement. It was a step toward a historic career-high WTA ranking, a ceiling that has never been touched by a Filipino player before. But the tournaments in mainland China were the spark. The Hong Kong Open was the explosion. We have to talk about the atmosphere in Hong Kong, because it is central to this narrative. The Hong Kong Open is a prestigious event, attracting some of the biggest names in the sport. But when Alex Eala played, the dynamic of the tournament fundamentally changed. It ceased to be a neutral sporting event and transformed into a home stand for Philippines. Reports from the ground described a fiesta-like environment. Thousands of overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, flooded the venue. They didn't just come to watch tennis. They came to witness hope. They brought flags, they brought placards, and they brought a noise level that is rarely seen in the polite confines of a tennis stadium. The chants of "Let's Go Alex" didn't just ripple through the crowd. They echoed off the walls, drowning out the support for even the local favorites. For a 20-year-old, this kind of attention can be a double-edged sword. It can be suffocating. But Eala absorbed it. She used it. There was a specific moment in the round of 16 that encapsulates her growth. Despite eventually bowing out in that round, the way she fought left a deeper impression than the loss itself. She was up against a heavyweight, a representative of the Asian powerhouse nations, and she stood toe-to-toe. She showed bravery in the big moments and a calmness that belied the chaos in the stands. The Chinese spectators, who are known for being knowledgeable and critical tennis fans, were won over. They respect heart and fight, and Eala displayed both in abundance. International scouts and local media outlets, including the South China Morning Post and the WTA Asia Channel, began changing their headlines. The narrative shifted from "Who is this girl?" to "Alexandra Eala is the unexpected star of the tournament." Now, let's pivot to the technical and tactical evolution, because this is what truly shocked the analysts. In previous years, critics might have said Eala relied too heavily on her fighting spirit. But in this Asian swing, we saw a tactical maturity that is rare for someone born in 2005. She wasn't just hitting the ball. She was solving problems in real time. Analysts noted her adaptability. When she faced an aggressive power hitter, someone trying to blast her off the court, Eala knew how to slow the tempo. She used slices, she changed the height of the ball, and she disrupted their rhythm. Conversely, when she faced a defensive wall, a player who just puts everything back, she shifted gears. She used the precision of her ground strokes to open up the court, painting the lines and finishing points with ruthless efficiency. This champion's mentality is what separates the good players from the great ones. It is the ability to win when you are playing well, but also the ability to stay in the match when things aren't going your way. In every rally, Eala seemed to be sending a message. The Philippines is no longer just happy to be here. We are here to take over. The cultural impact of this run cannot be overstated. For the longest time, aspiring tennis players in Asia looked solely to the systems of China and Japan for inspiration. Those nations are the factories of talent. But Alex Eala is a product of a different path, a path of self-sacrifice, of leaving home early to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy, of dedication, and of the unique support system of the Filipino people. She has become a symbol. At 20 years old, she isn't just an athlete. She is a new face of Asian tennis. She is carrying a flag for every Southeast Asian nation that has been told they are too small or too underfunded to compete with the giants. She is erasing the limits of what is thought possible for a player from this region. Of course, with this new status comes a new kind of pressure. The element of surprise is gone. Now, when Alex Eala walks onto court in upcoming tournaments in Japan or Thailand, she will be the hunted. Organizers will be waiting for her. Fans will expect brilliance every time. The dollar pressure, as some call it, the commercial and competitive weight of expectation, is now squarely on her shoulders. Consistency will be her next great battle. Can she replicate this level week in and week out? But if the last few weeks are any indication, the answer is a resounding yes. The tennis world is waking up to a new reality. The era of predictable dominance in Asian tennis is fracturing. There's a new queen rising on the courts, a silent lion who roars with her racket. From the headlines in local Chinese sports media to the viral clips spreading across the internet, the verdict is unanimous. Alexandra Eala is a legitimate top-tier threat. Her rise was not an accident. It was a result of years of grinding in the shadows, waiting for this moment to step into the light. As we look toward the rest of the 2025 season and beyond, one thing is undeniably obvious. In every serve, in every forehand winner, and in every fist pump, Alexandra Eala is not just winning matches. She is changing the landscape of the sport. The Philippines has arrived on the big stage, and the rest of Asia is finally taking notice. Alex Eala is no longer just a rising star. She is the star, and the world is watching.